Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Darrell Watts from Double Take Sports Talk. And I hope everybody's day is going well so far. I just wanted to just come on here. I don't want to take too much of anybody's time based off of what I wanted to discuss today real quickly. Before I do all that, if anybody hadn't had a chance to, check out our podcast, Double Take Sports Talk with the Watts Brothers, with me and Darrell and Darren Watts, take a moment and listen to our podcast, and on any platform that you listen to your podcast, Spotify, the podcast app for Apple, and Google Podcast, and all the other different podcasts, Amazon Music. So just give us a second and check us out. So, yeah, that's that. What I wanted to talk about today, the Golden State Warriors and the Cleveland Cavaliers played last night, and they won that game. The Warriors won the game 129-98. And Andre Drummond was suited up, or he was getting ready to suit up and be out on the court to ready to play. But then he got sent back. And then he ended up coming out in street clothes. And Draymond Green last night, right after that win, after he tied his career with 16 assists, he went on a 3-minute tirade, in which you can't really blame him, about how he felt that the NBA was double standard there, how they treat their players and the organization, and they treat them differently. But at the same time, he also expressed on how it can affect people in their mental health. So, one of the things that was very important and straight to the point that Draymond Green has said is, like, they should be treated the same as if any other organization, player, or team is treating other people. And, of course, equally. Now, I know that sounds familiar to a lot with when it comes down to Black Lives Matter protests, that we're just asking for equality, to be treated equally, treated the same, while everybody else is being privileged to do things. But now we're looking at this in the aspect of a business. For us, we look at these games, we watch these games as a pure form of entertainment, take our mind off of it. We love sports, and we're actually going to watch it. So when he said that, I had to commend him. You know, I'm not a fan of him in 50,000 different ways, but I had to actually commend him for how he approached, how he felt about the NBA, double standarding and the way that they treat the players in the organization. He had went from James Harden to James Harden, Kyrie Irving. It went on and on. And then Andre Drummond himself, it went on and on. Harrison Barnes, DeMarcus Cousins, he went on a rampage. And then he even got fined, of course, back at the restart from last season, talking about Devin Booker. These are just whole points that needs to be taken in consideration for the NBA, because you have the referees as one. They get treated differently from the NBA players, or how they feel when it comes to the players getting in the ref's face and protecting them. But there's nothing that's helping the NBA players protect them when it comes to speaking their mind and stuff like that. All it's doing is costing them money out of their pocket. And that's one of the issues that I feel that has to be addressed too. If the NBA players can't express how they feel about something in a professional manner, then the refs and everybody else that's in teams and organizations should be actually taking a different approach about how they approach their comments when it comes to players getting traded and stuff like that, because they could be able to say all of that stuff. They could be able to say all of that stuff and talk about players sitting out because they're about to get traded and we're looking for, the most available trade possibility for this player. And that is a big unprofessional way of actually looking to speak about how you would feel about, or well, not how you feel, but how you discuss one player's transaction being traded. So I would recommend that if they're going to do that, let's go ahead and actually be like, okay, well, for a prime example, you have Blake Griffin and Andre Drummond, which is real situations. They're both being traded, and they both sat out in their respective games. If they're going to sit out, they should actually just be approached and be like, okay, hey, the media asked them, what's the status of, Blake Griffin? What's the status of Andre Drummond? Well, right now, we just have them sitting out due to business reasons. They're sitting out. And that's how it should be. Period. Point blank, period. And for players to be fined in so many ways about how they are speaking on the behalf of the refs and the way that they referee the game, which is very, very trash in so many ways, especially if you're fixing them, but that's a different story for a different game. If y'all are doing this, the NBA players should be able to speak freely about how they feel, because for an NBA player, it's not professional for them to speak on how they feel. It's not professional at all. But a CEO, an owner, a general manager, or any person like that in the front office can say the exact same thing an NBA player just said and still could get fined or not get fined, depending on the circumstances. But what's the odds of that? They're not going to get fined at all. It just depends on who they like and don't like. That could be wrong too. But you've noticed that. You've noticed that all the way. So I wanted to just bring my thoughts about what was being said and all of that. And he felt that something should change about it. And with Kyrie Irving and how he approached him saying, hey, I need some time off. I have my mental state is, different. It's off, man. And they went on the tirade about it. And it ain't fair. You have to take care of your mental health. You have to. It's very important. We've discussed that on the podcast on 1 to million different positions. We've discussed that. It's very important that you take care of your mental health, because ain't nobody else going to help you take care of it. You're the only one. Period. It's that simple. So I feel that Draymond Green was absolutely right about exposing the NBA for double standard in the way they're treating the NBA players versus the executives. That has to change. They need to be treated equally too. How fair would that be? That's just not fair at all. I wouldn't want to get fined every time for expressing how I feel, but we got to keep quiet and keep the stuff in. It ain't cool. It ain't cool at all. But yeah, I wanted to express how I feel about that. So wanted to take that time to at least thank y'all for actually listening to me and hearing me out. But let me know what y'all think about it. I'll be posting this on Instagram and YouTube. And you can always just comment at the bottom. Just let me know what you think about it. But don't forget to check out our podcast. That does it for this edition of my reaction for whatever. But until then, take care of yourself. Be safe. I'm out.